Hi, everyone. Henry DeVries, Agency Rainmaker TV. This is the show where we help rainmakers in the world of marketing make it rain. And by rain, we mean right fit prospects. And we help solve that problem of a dry, dusty pipeline. And how do you fill it with right prospects? And we bring in experts like an author. Our author today, Sacha Awwa. Sasha, how are you today?
Doing good, Jeff. Sorry, I'm doing good, Henry. Thank you for having me on.
It's not an inquisition. It'll be fine. Yeah, well,
I
we're
was
not
just
the
on a
IRS.
call with a Jeffrey.
Oh, I see. Oh, I get called all kinds of things. Um, so why don't you tell the viewers about yourself and your book?
Yeah, so I have been in marketing for about 23 years, a little over 23 years. And when I started marketing in the advertising agency world and working with big enterprise companies, as one would, because most of these folks that are hiring agencies, have larger budgets. When I migrated out from, working with enterprise companies and really the meat of my career being at a media company called the New York Times, I walked into the tech
That's
startup
that's
world.
that's the gray lady out
Yeah.
up in New York way. Yes, I've heard of the New
Yeah.
York Times. Go on.
Yes. So I jumped into the startup world and I started to notice that the support system in terms of really their navigation, in terms of where to start, how to do things, operationally, where they were spending was really kind of tough, right? And so I worked inside, so with them internally as the head of marketing, chief marketing officer, and it really drove my passion to want to really marketing isn't broken, but to fix the landscape and how they truly understand how marketing should be set up and established. Because in today's world, we have the Donald Millers of the world, we have the Seth Goodins, we have the guy that does the funnels. His name is escaping me now, but at the end of the day, they are portions of this landscape. Nobody really talks about where you start and really it never ends. So what is the cycle? So where do you plug in the Donald Millers, the click funnels, the social media? Once you start a business and you get up on LinkedIn, you get bombarded with an intense amount of people reaching out to you and saying, I can do this for your business, I can do that for your business. And with the world of the blossoming, I should say, of AI, it's just becoming even louder. And a lot of people, and there is a lot of snake oil in the marketing, landscape and industry of a lot of clients that come my way. I'm having to rehabilitate them back into knowing that marketing can work for you and it is exciting and you don't have to be spending X amount to get to where you need to get to. So ultimately, for me, empowering the founder and the business owner to understand at a high level what it is we do and when to say no and when to say yes was extremely important for me.
Snake oil salesman. I like it.
Yeah.
Um, my favorite was the person or robot that comes on LinkedIn and says they want to introduce themselves and they'd like to be my life coach. That was the first outreach.
Yeah.
And I said, usually you have to buy me dinner and take me dancing before you can offer to be my life coach. That's like too fast. Okay, so how do you make it rain? So I'd like to know how you make it rain for your consulting, and then what's your best advice for your clients on filling the pipeline with right fit prospects?
Yeah, so typically what I do, I mean, I work with two types of founders. So it's a founder that's just about to get to market with, the product or service that they've built, and it's ensuring that their foundation is set up correctly. In my book, I talk about three phases, and those three phases really sets up the foundation, right? So I have in phase one, it looks like a how do you say like a what an
A Venn
infinity,
diagram, but it's like it. Yeah,
or you can say it's like an infinity with an extra circle.
I
And
see.
because it's a cycle, because at times you're going to have to go back between phase one and phase two. So really phase one is building your foundation and it's understanding that you have It's akin to ensuring that you're laying the bricks of building a house so that there are no leakages, there are no areas where snow, rain can dismantle or, break the foundation to eventually fall and so on and so forth. Nobody wants that, right? So those type of things are really getting honest about, why you've done this. Like, what is your true mission? What is your vision? Why did you do this? Who did you do it for? What is the way that you're doing it, which is your differentiation in market, and what it is? What is your product and service? So, which is what I like to call the 4 Ws. And then a lot of people need to get honest about who their customer is. A lot of people think that, they are the customer. They've built it for themselves, so therefore they should be exactly who they're looking for, and that's never the case, right? And there's always more than one customer. There is at least what I'd like to call 3 tiers of layers of a different type of customer that you need to be looking at. And based on any type of outreach and marketing that you do, you'll uncover maybe a type of customer that you never thought that you would go after, or that would even remotely be interested in what you're offering, right? And so foundationally, the communication also of how you speak about your service and your product is important, because it's what I always like to say. If you sell bikes, tell people you sell bikes on your website, not the wind that blows through their hair, because they're just, you're beating a dead horse at that point and you're confusing the market. What do they sell again? I see bikes on their page, but they're talking about this esoterical, beautiful thing of, like, riding through the sunset on the beach and so on and so forth, which just confuses people. So stop trying to come up with this beautiful headline and just be honest. A bike that's going to get you from point A to point B, or pick up your groceries or whatever it is, right? On a mid Sunday afternoon. And then phase two is really, then building out that go-to market strategy. What are you going to be doing? How are you going to be going after that particular audience? And marketing isn't just Facebook ads, Instagram ads, email marketing. It's a multitude of different things. And it's really getting creative about how you reach your audience and where you find your audience. And there's a lot of creative ways to find ways to get in front of your audience that's a high impact, low cost. And if you're a small business, you don't want to be spending money on Facebook anyway, because everyone has competition, and you're going to have your competition spending 6 times the amount you are. And your ads are never going to be seen. And the third bucket is analytics. That's your chess move. It's understanding, what's working and what's not, and, what you throw out and what you continue to optimize and to build upon. So those are very important things. And like I said, in those 3 phases, if the analytics is telling you something, you may have to go back to phase one, because in phase one, you're going to have to maybe tweak the content. You're going to have to tweak the understanding of who your audience is because something's not working, or tweak a landing page, which is your foundation. Why isn't it converting, and so on and so forth. So that's why those 3 buckets are really important. And they're set up like an infinity sign with dashes around them. And it's not a solid line, because you're going to be, moving very fluidly through the 3 buckets as you grow as a business throughout the lifetime of any business.
So, Empower Your Marketing comes out in June of 2026.
Comes out June 23rd, 2026. Yes.
Right. Right as the days start getting longer again.
Yes.
No, they're getting shorter. I beg your pardon. Got to get my celestial.
Midsummer.
So, how do you find clients? What do you do?
So I
You don't
find clients
have
through
hard times.
LinkedIn. Huh?
Yeah. So LinkedIn is your marketing tool of choice.
Yeah, LinkedIn is my marketing tool of choice. I go to a lot of networking events. I work currently with a lot of tech startups and founders. So then it's also aligning myself with, family offices, PE offices, investor relations, and being able to help support that end of the spectrum as well. Because, it's not just about fundraising and saying, here's, $2 million, best of luck. But how about it's here's $2 million and let's build your playbook so you have a solid footing to jump into the market. That's a much better conversation, in my opinion.
Well, looking forward to this book coming out. I'd love to review it if I can. But before we leave, is there anything else you want to add?
Just ensure that you're getting smarter as a founder to understand what you're signing on before you sign on to anything. And I think, having the level of education to understand what somebody's selling you is important so that you don't get trapped into something that isn't what your business needs. Just because you have the need to get to market sooner rather than later. It's more important to ensure that you save those dollars and do it the right way versus rushing into market.
Great advice. So until next time, make it rain.
You, Henry.
Thank you.